Benvenuto! Welcome to Cherry Hill Home Cooking. My name is Mark. Today we're going to make Creole Daube. I think that's how it's pronounced. Tom, you let us know if that's the way that it's pronounced or not. It's spelled D-A-U-B-E. All right, so what chicken daube is a Creole-style pot roast stew. Okay, it sounds absolutely delicious. I've never made this. A couple weeks ago, Todd had asked us to add a couple Creole dishes to our episodes. So last week we made chicken etouffee, and while I was looking for that, I kept running across this recipe, and it looked absolutely delicious. So we're going to start with, I've got roughly about a 3-pound chuck roast here, okay? This recipe had lots and lots of different variations. So what I've kind of done is I've taken bits of all the traditional recipes that I could find and, came up with a recipe. All right, so some of the recipes called for cube, beef stew cubed meat. Some called for the chuck roast. Some called to cut it into pieces. Some called to leave it whole. So I've decided to cut it into 6 pieces. This recipe should easily feed 6 for really hungry people. So anyway, without further ado, so I've cut my chuck roast into 6 pieces, and this recipe, which I will put it in the recipe, calls for a full tablespoon of the Creole Seasoning. Again, this is something else that, I can't remember if Todd recommended this to us or I picked it up and he said, hey, I use that all the time. But anyway, I lightly dusted it. I'm only going to end up using 1 teaspoon because we're not that fond of anything that's really, really spicy. So I have lightly dusted each side, and then I'm going to add a teaspoon when we put in our the rest of our spices. Okay, so one of the other things that in few recipes was very traditional, and then some recipes I didn't see any vegetables at all, but and a couple of them called for carrots. These are parsnips. I'm sure everybody knows what a parsnip is, right? You get it in where you buy the carrots, or rutabaga, or what's the other thing we call rutabaga? The really hard big turnip. I think that's also called rutabaga. I don't particularly like turnip. Some of the recipes called for parsnips. I do like parsnips. So I've peeled and cut them into roughly bite-sized pieces, okay? We need some garlic, which I'm gonna, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, I've got about 6 cloves of garlic in there, 6 small-sized cloves of garlic. I'm gonna chop those up in the little blender. Of course, we need the Creole, Cajun, Louisiana, Trinity, which is always green peppers, celery, and onions, all right? And again, I've cut those into, slightly smaller than bite-sized pieces. We're also going to need a little bit of green onion and some a couple tablespoons of chopped loose flat leaf parsley or Italian parsley. Okay, and we need a couple other spices. So we talked about the Tonys, also some salt and pepper to taste, and then we've got some ground cloves and ground thyme and a couple bay leaves. All right, so that's what our spices look like. Then for the liquid and to make our roux, which is what's kind of exciting about this. It's got a really dark, it says to do your roux to chocolatey color. So I've never done that dark of a roux, so we'll find out how we do it. So we need some tomato paste. We need a 6-ounce can of tomato paste and a, a 15-ounce can of tomato sauce. All right, we're going to need some, again, every recipe I saw called for canola oil, so we got some canola oil. Some of the recipes called for a large amount of red wine. Then some didn't call for any. I'm going to put a splash in, and then we'll have the rest of it for later when we're eating dinner. You can omit the wine. This dish has kind of got French and Italian origin, and then of course, Louisiana made it even better. So we're going to add a little bit, and we'll talk a little bit more of that when we get to that point. And I did mention salt and pepper to taste, right? All right, I was heating this up. I'm going to get my pan to heat up a little bit more. So I'm going to get our meat in, and then we'll clean up and we'll come back with the recipe. Just because we've done this so many times, we're going to brown our meat, all right? Our chuck roast. Now, this recipe calls for 1/4 of a cup of canola oil, which we're going to use, of course, to make the roux. But I'm going to start out with, I'm going to turn that up a bit. I did have it nice and hot, and then I forgot something. We had to stop, and I had to turn it off. So I'm going to start with a couple tablespoons. Not even that. I shouldn't even say that. Maybe 1 tablespoon. And we'll end up subtracting that by eye at the appropriate time. All right, so we've got our slightly seasoned chuck roast with our Creole seasoning. You could just season it with salt and pepper, again, depending upon what your heat level is. And then we want to brown this nicely. Of course, that piece isn't going to. We want to brown. I didn't even bother to cut off any of the excess fat. All the recipes said don't bother. So we're going to follow at least what those recommended. So there we go. Got a nice sizzle. So we want to brown these nicely on at least the top and bottom surfaces. Find a knife and cut that piece. And that one. Yes, I know this knife is not sharp, but I cut the others with a sharp knife. Just obviously didn't pay attention to what I was doing. So we'll get this one in. And also by cutting it in, what is sixths? I cut it in 6. What would that be? Wade's really good at math. All right, so we're going to get those in there, and we're going to get a nice sear on them. So what is everybody, guys? That takes a good 5-6 minutes to get a good, nice brown crust on them, right? So we will let those sit there for a minute. I can put those over there. Let's see, make sure my other pieces are separated well. Nope. See what? Oh, now I need another knife. We've really started to appreciate a little bit of heat more, and definitely appreciate some Creole and Louisiana, or Cajun, I should say, cooking. We really enjoyed the chicken etouffee. And we've made one other thing that Todd requested. Can you remember what it was? I can't, he made a suggestion.
Not offhand, no.
I can't remember what it was, but it was when I first kind of got introduced to the Tony seasoning. It was delicious, but I don't know, how many videos do we have now?
Almost 200.
Almost 200 videos, and we definitely have over 1,000 subscribers, which is wonderful. Our chicken etouffee recipe did really nice. I think within the first, as far as views, within the first couple days we had well over 300, and we're over 500 now. Talking about that, one of the things that, from my understanding, that YouTube does is it's really kind of based on likes. The more likes you get, the more it gets pushed out to other people's feeds, and the more views we'll get. We never started this to think, oh, we were going to become famous and make lots of money. But we started this channel for COVID, and we've had a lot of fun with it. I think there's only a few weeks since, when did we start? 2000, maybe 2021?
20.
Yeah, 20. Okay, so there's really only been a few weeks where we haven't done a video, at least one, and that was because we were either on vacation or it was the holiday season. So I just checked this. Well, I can actually turn this down a little. So I'm on medium high. So I just checked this to give it a little wiggle, all right? And I can tell it's not coming up, so it hasn't come to a nice hard sear. And again, we've done that many times. As you know, our cooking channel really kind of has always been geared toward what you want to say, the novice cook, or maybe somebody that's just started to experiment cooking. I am by no ways a gourmet cook. I'm just a home cook. Second, those are still stuck a little bit. I'm not going to sit here and watch you make all this, but I at least want to watch you see it the first turn. We might as well, since we got to make some noise, we'll chop up our. And I don't know if anybody notices, but we're on dark shadows. what is it? Look at that. It was in 1966 was the year it was made. It aired there. So 12/23/66. I wasn't paying attention to it. It went away. So, but anyway, we're still, I think, in the first year. There we go. That's nice. I've watched every episode multiple times, but there we go. See how nicely that released? That release right over. Look at that sear. We'll turn it over on its side. That nice, all that nice brown deliciousness is going to make our roux taste even better. We'll give that a second longer. What else is going on, hon? Anything exciting? That you can think of. When, depending upon you watch ways, he's getting annoyed because I'm doing so much talking. But then he lost editing out to do. Besides, a few of you have said you don't mind if I talk too much. What's today's date? The January. Isn't that awful? We didn't do work today, so I don't know. Oh.
Hey Google, what's today's date?
It's Saturday, January 11th.
It's the 11th, depending upon when you're watching this video. It's a cold, dreary day here in our area. And right now it's about 5:40. 4:40. Why does the kitchen... Oh, no, what time? Yeah, it's 4:40. Why does the kitchen clock okay? It says... Oh, it's... Ignore me. All right, come off there. They got this one little piece on the side of the pan that's a little cooler. There we go. All right, so you see, look at that. We got that nice, beautiful sear there. This was the last one I put in. We'll give that a minute. All right, guys, so I just wanted you to see it turn over, see the color. Easy peasy, right? I'm going to fry up the rest of this. We'll put our stuff away, and we'll be back in a little bit. Alrighty, you can see our chuck roast is all nicely browned. All right, so our next step is we're using the same pot. I've got just slightly less than 1/4 cup oil. I'm not sure if I'm gonna need more, but that's what we'll start with. All right, I have turned this down after so obviously guys, we've taken the meat out and we've put it on a plate and we've set it aside for now. All right, I can turn this back up to medium. All right, and we've got 1/4 cup of flour, and we've got a whisk. Really, this is probably the thing that will take the most time, at least, from minute 1 till we put it in there until it's done. But to get this brown, we're probably going to need a good 8 minutes. All right, so we got our flour. Let's put it in and start to incorporate it into our canola oil. All right, now, this is something that you have to keep moving. All right, so, of course, it's picking up a little bit of color already from the little font or brown bits. You go? I go, oh, thank you. And I think, so this is called a mirepoix, especially in Southern cooking and from Louisiana, it's always celeries, green peppers, and onions. In Italian cooking, it's onions, celery, and carrot. French is probably, I'm not quite sure what French is. Oops, the bottle of wine. So, all right, I'm not going to make you watch me do this, but again, of a medium heat, you've got to really stand here and just keep stirring, okay? So I'm predicting we'll see you in about 6 minutes. All right, guys, so you can see the marked difference in the color. I think that's as far as I'm gonna brown it. I'm afraid I'm gonna burn it since this is the first time I've ever done it. So, all right, so our next step is we got our onions, peppers, and celery. At just about medium, and we're going to toss those all in there, and we want to let those sweat out a little bit. till they become just a little bit tender. And that's going to take a good 4 or 5 minutes. And I'm going to add just a tad bit of stock, just because, again, I'm not 100%. That will just get some of our font up there so it doesn't burn. All right, I'll see you guys in about 4 minutes. All right, guys, I'm going to add just a tad bit wine, again, just to get some of our font up before we go on to the next, which is to add our root vegetables. And we just kind of want to, this is going to stew for a few hours, so let's just get that all kind of covered and incorporated. It's starting to smell delicious, and I think I can put that aside for now. And I would say you want to let this kind of just get in there and get happy and jump out. That one wasn't happy. Get in there. I'm going to turn that up a little bit back to medium. Now our next step is our tomato paste, which Wade has opened for me perfectly. Thank you. So this recipe calls for 6 ounces of tomato paste, and what we want is to get it all coated. Yeah, there we go. Get all that deliciousness out of there. And then the cook gets to lick the knife. I love tomato paste. All right, let's get this going. So my goal here is I'm just going to get everything covered or coated in our tomato paste. Beginning to wonder if all my meat's going to fit in here. It will, it'll be fine. Alright, that looks good. It's starting to smell tomatoey. Then we got our tomato sauce, which again, Wade didn't open expertly because it fell. No. Okay, guys, so with this here, we want to get this, because it's going to get us a little bit more liquidy, so things are going to start to move around. Font will come up from the bottom. But we want this to darken a bit. Not burn, but we want it to kind of, we're going to move it around until it kind of takes on a deeper shade of red. So that's going to take 5-6 minutes. So we'll be back when it's the color we want it to be. All right, guys. So it might be hard to see on the camera, but it has taken on a deeper burgundy color. You can see we're not burnt. Nothing's burning on the bottom because I've been mixing it around. There's a little bit of font there. Okay, and the reason we don't want that to, we want to stay close is we don't want that font to burn, because then everything will taste burnt. Okay, let's put a little bit of, I haven't added any salt and pepper at all at this point. I'm going to put a little bit of, a couple pinches of salt in. A couple nice pinches of pepper. We can get our parsley and scallions in there. And we got all our nice delicious garlic. Now again, like I said, this, it's a lot of little steps here. But at least from what I've read about this recipe and, well, this dish and what it looks like it's worth it. It does take a little time to cook. I mean, it's going to take about 3.5 hours, or that seems to be the average that I've seen in the recipes. And we're going to do, and of course it's going to cook until our meat is nice and tender. So anyway, I've got this all mixed together. I'm going to add another little bit of wine. So I've probably maybe added a half cup in total. And turn that around. All right, so we can turn this up a little bit more, say to medium high. I was on medium there. And we're going to start to slowly add our beef stock. Oh, it smells delicious. I just want to take a big bowl of the veggies and what do you think? You think it looks good? I do.
It does.
So look at it. We're going to have that nice thickened sauce. I don't think we're going to have to do any thickening at the end. All right, we'll add our little rest of that. Get down there, guys. Oh, that looks yummy. I'm sorry, guys. I keep seeing. Usually, I'm doing this while we're off camera, and you don't have to listen to me say how yummy it looks. But just because there's a little bit of technique with this, I thought I'd show you a little bit more step by step. All right, we got all of our, we got our bay leaves, our whatever, I can't remember off the top of my head, but we'll throw that in. So that's got our additional Cajun season, the bay leaves. What else do we have in there? Cloves and, was it thyme? I can't remember. But it's in the recipe. All right, so I do want to let this come to a boil. It looks it's already got a nice popping to me, so I'm going to turn it down slightly. I just want you to see we've got little bubbles. All right, those are big bubbles, but point is we want to bring it back up to a really high simmer before we put our meat back in. Right now I'm still on medium. And I'm going to start to place your meat in, push it down a little bit. Doesn't have to be. All right, that's going to get dangerous. I'm going to turn it off just so I don't get burnt. Doesn't have to be totally submerged. Keep the brown, a little bit of the brown up top. It'll stay nice and brown. I think we're just going to about make it with these big pieces of meat. All right, we're not going to let all this go to waste, so I'm going to pour that back in there. And I think we're good to go. I'm going to put back on my heat. I'm going to put it to low. All right. And we're going to cover it. Very important. Make sure you put a cover on. And that's going to take about 3.5. Okay, set a timer for 3.5 hours.
Sure.
If I can remember how to do the
now.
timer on this, I can't remember temp timer. I'm going to put the nope, that's not doing what I want. Oh, that's not doing that. Anyway, all right. I was going to say I'll set a timer for 4 hours on the little cooktop here, but we'll keep an eye on it. Okay, so now the next important thing is this isn't technically, something you can now go out and play bingo or go to the casino for the next 3.5 hours, because you do need to give it a stir. I'd say give it a good stir every 20 minutes or so. Okay? All right. Hopefully, we'll see you for dinner if it comes out good. Hey guys, I forgot to mention the egg noodles. We're gonna serve our Creole Daube over egg noodles. Now, again, a couple recipes I saw that it was over egg noodles. Some I saw it was over rice. Some I saw it was over mashed potatoes. We've had a lot of rice over the last couple weeks, and we had rice last night because we had takeout. So I just wanted to mention the noodles because you want to cook those, have them ready for when you're ready to serve everything up. All right? See you in a little while. All right, everybody. We're just at about the 3.5 hour mark, and this has been a long 3.5 hours. But anyway, our Creole Daube is done. Look at that. Bubbling and just beautifully. It smells delicious. So I did test it. Our meat is tender. Stick it easily with a fork. Let me see how my turnips have gotten better. My turnips were really slow getting soft. All right, so I just thought I'd show you how we're gonna serve this or eat this tonight. So I've got some egg noodles. I just put a little cooked, according to the packing instructions. I get a little bit of salt and pepper and a little bit of butter in there. Like I said, I don't know if egg noodles is kind of the traditional way you'd eat them, but like I said, I've seen them in other recipes with rice and or potatoes.
I think I see one with spaghetti.
Yeah, I've seen one with spaghetti too. You're right, hon. Yep. Mm-hmm. I mean, this is kind of, I can shut that off now. It is, it's not really a red sauce, or a pasta sauce. We're going to take, neither way or I have eaten a lot today, so we'll take a nice big piece. So we got our piece of beef there. And we'll just get a few carrots and let's get another one here. Ooh, I can't wait to eat.
Looks good.
Of course, I did give it a quick test to test for salt and everything, and it was good. All right, guys, so we will be back shortly and experience a new dish with you guys. There you go. Okay, everybody, here we are back. Ready for dinner?
Yep.
I don't know.
Smells delicious.
It smells delicious, and a couple times I've tasted it. It tastes delicious too. So, all right, let's dig in.
Got a piece of meat off.
It smells delicious.
That is delicious. Very good.
It's amazing. It has a lot of the same ingredients as the chicken etouffee. Not as much tomatoes. Well, let me see. I want to get some of our sauce and
Sauce is delicious.
veggies. Now, there was no problem with the meat. I think the meat cooked long enough. I don't know. My turnips just did not want to get as soft as I like them. I don't know if maybe I cut them too big, but anyway, they taste delicious.
All right, good.
Before I forget, I mentioned we had takeout last night, Chinese takeout. Wade always gets what up in our area they call the house fried rice, which has got, you know, everything in it.
House fried rice, yep.
House fried, special fried rice, whatever. It's got shrimp, you know, all the meats and, you know, fried rice. I just like white rice. I like fried rice, don't get me wrong, but I like white rice. But anyway, I was in the supermarket and I was looking for ginger sauce because they never give you enough ginger sauce when I take it out. But anyway, and I saw this sweet soy sauce. Now, maybe I'm the only person in the world that has never had it, but I've never had it. And it's become one of my new favorite things. I love it. Anyway, let me know. Has anyone else had sweet soy sauce? It's got a little tiny bit of sweet, but yet it's savory. So anyway, all right. So Todd, thank you for giving us the motivation to introduce a couple new dishes to ourselves.
Yep.
It's delicious. I will definitely make it again. And that's all I got to say.
And what I have to say is please remember to like and subscribe. Check out cherryhillhomecooking.com. Thank you for having watching our video and having supper with us. See you on the next one.
Ciao.
Bye.